Hello, everybody. This is Fabio Bustos. I am a student at UNAD University, and this is the micro teaching class style for the text number 4 of the subject teacher development, which is peer observation strategy. So during the next 20 minutes, I will give a class talking about any specific topic. Then let's get started. So today we are going to talk about present perfect continuous. So the present perfect continuous, it's a tense that is very common to use when you want to express actions that you started in the past and you continue doing in the present. So let's write this down. Actions that we started in the past and continue in the present. So just let's remember that all the continuous tenses must have the ending ing. Always when we have continuous form, we need to add ing, which is the most common way to express the continuous or progressive tenses in this language. Then it is important to remember that we have the main auxiliary, which is have been, but also we have for the third person has been. So these are the main auxiliaries for the present perfect continuous form. Then we have the present perfect auxiliary, which is have or has, according to the pronoun that we are using. But also we have been, which is the verb to be participle form of the verb to be. Then, knowing this, we also need to know that we need to add ing to this form. Okay. It's important to know also that we have the negative form of these auxiliaries, which are haven't been, or hasn't been. So you add a negative or affirmative form according to what you are trying to express. Then, first of all, let's make some examples. Let's remember that we have actions that we started in the past, in any specific moment of the past, and then we continue doing in this moment, in the present. So let's make one example. Juan has been watching a movie. Juan has been watching a movie. For example, you can say all the afternoon. So in this context, we can notice that Juan has started an action in the past. In this case, the action that he started was watch. So in this context, Juan started to watch a movie in any specific time of the past, and Juan is still watching the movie all the afternoon, which means that it is still in progress, the action. Okay. Let's make another example, right? So So let's make the next example. We're gonna use we. For example, when you started a project in your company or in your environment, so, and you haven't finished that action. So this is a present perfect continuous action. Let's make another example. We have been working on this project all this month. So in this case, we can notice that we started a project in the past, but we haven't finished yet. So we are still working on that project. Then to express this, we can use the present perfect continuous. We have been working on this project all this month, which means that we started to work on this project, but we haven't finished it yet, which is an excellent example. Let's make the last example in affirmative form in order to continue with the negative form. So now, let's go with this one. The painter has been painting our house all the morning. So in this case, we can notice which is the action in progress, which is painting. And the painter started to paint the house in the past, and he is still painting our house. So he hasn't ended the action. Then this is an action in progress in this moment of the present. So here we have our first three examples, which are affirmative form. Then let's move to negative examples. So remember, for negative examples, we must use haven't been or hasn't been, which are these auxiliaries. Haven't been, hasn't been. So let's go through the examples. Let's say his girlfriend hasn't been. Again, the verb to be in participle must be always presented in this kind of exercises. His girlfriend hasn't been drinking alcohol. She has been drinking juice. So in this example, we have an affirmative sentence, which is she has been drinking juice. And we have a negative sentence, which is his girlfriend hasn't been drinking alcohol. Then in this context, we can notice that we are representing two actions. One is negative and the other one is affirmative. Then we say, his girlfriend hasn't been drinking alcohol. This means that probably she doesn't like to drink alcohol, so she hasn't been drinking alcohol for a long period of time, since the past until this point of the present. But also we can complement this with she has been drinking juice, which means that she likes juice, so she has been drinking juice, probably because she prefers juice than alcohol. Okay, let's go with the other example. It hasn't been working. Okay. So it hasn't been working. In this case, we can be talking about maybe a computer. Maybe my computer hasn't been working. I don't know what happened with my computer, because my computer hasn't been working during a long period of time, since could be since the last week until this point of the present. My computer hasn't been working, so probably it has a problem with the software or with the system. We don't know. We need to verify and check what happened to the computer. So remember, it could replace a noun. In this case, you can say my computer. My computer hasn't been working, so I need to fix it. You know, I need to fix it, right? Again, so we are representing action that started in the past. The computer started to fail in the past and continue in the present. The computer is still failing in the present. So that's why I need to fix it. Okay. So finally, everyone, we have the interrogative form. So we are going to make some examples in interrogative form. This tense follows the same rule that we can almost find in all the tenses of this language, which is that we need to cross the auxiliaries. Instead of start with the noun, we need to start with the auxiliary and then continue with the subject, with the verb, and with the complement. So a very good example of this tense could be this one. Pay attention. Okay. So in this question, we have the structure of a question in present perfect continuous form. So first of all, we need to add the auxiliary of the present perfect, which is have. Then we have the subject. After that, we have the verb to be in participle form. And then, of course, we have ing form, continuous form of look, which is looking. And then we have a complement. So the question is, have you been looking at her all night? Have you been looking at her all night? Which represents that a person, in this case you, could be a man, it could be a girl, we don't know, has been looking at another person all night. Maybe he or she has been interested on that person. Maybe because we are in a party, so we have a lot of people, and I have been looking at her, at that girl, probably because I like her, you know. So I have been looking at her all night. I started to look at her in the past, and I continue looking at her in the present. Let's make the last example, you know. What have, okay, let's change. What has she been doing all these years? Okay, what has she been doing all these years? In this question, we are requiring information about what she has been doing all these, I'm sorry, here we have a mistake, these years. What has she been doing all these years? Which means that we need information about what she did in the past and what she is still doing in the present. Then we are requiring for that information in order to understand what have been her actions during all these years. A possible answer to this question could be, okay, she has been working on her own company, and she has been traveling around the world for all these years. That could be a very excellent answer. As you notice, we are having the present perfect continuous form of the question, And we have the answer with the affirmative or negative form of the present perfect continuous, depending on the situation. So, everyone, I need you to notice this. In all the cases, in all the examples, we are using has been or have been. Yeah, so we always use has been. In negative form, we use hasn't been or haven't been. If we would have an example with have been or haven't been would be the same. And in questions, we have the same. Have been and has been. So this is the first things we need to notice, that we are using have been, has been, haven't been, or hasn't been. But here we have a very interesting thing, which is that we are also using ing. So we have watching, working, painting, drinking, working, looking, doing. As you can see, everybody, we must always follow that structure. If we don't follow this, we will have some troubles because this is the grammar of the present perfect continuous. So everybody, finally, we are going to make some exercises in order to understand this verb. So let's have a look to the screen. We have some exercises for you in order to practice. Okay, cool. So we have present perfect continuous, right one. What have you been doing? Here we have the pronoun. We have a picture about the main action that we need to represent with the perfect continuous form of the present perfect and a complement. In this case, we have a study. So what would you add in this case? Think about it. 10 seconds to think. Okay. I have been studying all morning. Pretty cool. Excellent. That's nice. Second example, you have 10 seconds to think. Okay, as you can notice, this is a question, so we need to follow the structure of the question. Have you been taking photos? Perfect. Example 3. You have 10 seconds to think about it. Okay. The dogs have been barking. The dogs have been barking. Remember, it doesn't matter that we have an animal, but if it is plural, we need to use have. If we are talking only about one dog, you would use has. But as in this case we have plural, we need to follow the structure of plural nouns. Example number 4. Let's go. 10 seconds. Okay. She has been dancing for hours. So in this case, as you can see, all these sentences started in the past and continue in the present, which is a very specific and clear form of the present perfect continuous. Let's make our last example. We have 10 seconds to think. Let's go. Okay. In this case, we have negative form, which is he hasn't been smoking lately. Okay, very cool. So we have affirmative form, interrogative form, and negative form of the present perfect continuous. So that's it, everybody. I hope that you have enjoyed this class as I loved it. Then I recommend you to practice with the present perfect continuous form in order to get a better experience of this kind of tense. So have a good day and we'll see you the next time. Thank you very much. Bye.